It's such a beautiful world out there. All of it so much bigger than we are, and so outside our grasp. Where do I begin? An introduction is always a good way to start, and a name is a rather proper part of any good introduction. But truly, what's in a name? Maybe I'll start with something other to help us better introduce ourselves to each other. Maybe start with a tale that's not about me or you, or the me or you that we imagine. Maybe I'll start with a tale that in its is and isn't-ness is something other, something more, much like this world around us. A tale that can make just awful sense of things. Let's start again. Lion eats gazelle, wolf eats lamb, fox eats chicken, chicken eats worm, even worm eats lion. That's the order of things. But what if things weren't this way? What if lion loved gazelle, wolf loved lamb, fox loved chicken, chicken loved worm, and even worm loved lion? There is a brotherhood of man, and yet man can be beast. Wouldn't it also make sense that there could be a brotherhood of beast? That beast could be man? A fraternity of animal? A place where gazelle was free to gazelle because it no longer feared lion? Or lamb was free to lamb because it no longer feared wolf? Or chicken was free to chicken because it no longer feared fox? Then again, what if gazelle was free to be more than gazelle? Or lamb more than lamb? What if chicken were more than chicken? That's the thought that went through Chicken's head as she sat with Crow and Porcupine. Daily, the threesome sat together by the side of brook in the hollow among the reeds of wood, enjoying their midday parleys. Wood was a splendidly bountiful and joyful place that could provide for all. It was so distantly removed from the world that it provided its residents sanctuary from the struggle and savagery that existed outside its borders. It was a place within which, due to its isolated bounty, beast could live in civility and brotherhood. It was a place where chicken could chicken, porcupine could porcupine, and crow could crow. Wood was a place of peace and ease, and with very little to weigh their minds, chicken, porcupine, and crow met daily by brook and wood to idly gossip and discuss the comings and goings of their home. They spoke of eagle and his stately grace. They spoke of swan and her enchanting song. They spoke of dove and her peaceful virtue. They spoke in admiration of all the wonderfully great creatures who did wonderfully great things and who lived alongside them in their wonderfully great wood. And throughout their adoration and praise, they would sip tea and nibble on their delicious assortment of fare, content to enjoy their days in wood. That was what transpired every day, or at least every other day, but not today, because today their sojourn was unexpectedly disturbed. On this day, Porcupine had been excitedly musing on the quite nimble dancing of Bear, when, abruptly, their quiet hollow came alive. It began with the rustle of a leaf, and then a branch. Next came an eye, then another eye, then 100 eyes, framing a crown that proudly rose upon a head that rose upon a neck whose length sloped down to a blaze of blue, rising like the early morning sky over a fan of 100 burning suns. Peacock appeared through the brush, and with his unexpected and majestic arrival, Trio's feast abruptly and unexpectedly turned to dearth. Peacock was magnificent, and so magnificently so that even from Peacock's plumes fell a score of feathers no longer worthy of adorning his frame. Talon over talon with a purposeful strut, Peacock momentarily cut a line across the locked stairs of the three, only to be swallowed and disappear back into the thick brush that bordered Brook. In the splendor of wood, amidst the flora of Brook, in the wake of Peacock's gate, all that remained was a palpable silence, a trail of feathers lost, and three disheartened companions left to ponder their lack. Chicken looked up and down at her plain brown coat and scrawny frame. Chicken was Chicken, but so much more. Porcupine pricked at his prickly spines. Crow became lost in his shadowy plumes, and the three sat blankly in silence for what seemed an eternity, reflecting upon themselves and each other, until their silence was finally broken by Chicken. Chicken had always been content to chicken. But what if Chicken were more than chicken? The words filled the air. But what if Chicken were more than chicken? More often than not, when words fill the air, they join a myriad of other words that are already there, and as such, amidst such a cacophony, they eventually disappear into the sky, never to be heard again. More often than not, this is the sad course of words. This time, however, didn't happen to be one of those times. As the words left Chicken's mouth, they floated through the hollow, over a berm, past a copse, and onto a grove, landing squarely on the left ear of Fox before finally floating up to the sky. Fox had his own problems. Hungry, Fox had spent the morning fruitlessly lunging for apples that sat just above his reach in an orchard that sat just outside the hollow. Worn and frustrated, Fox's stomach lurched with a grumble. That's not a good thing, because despite a fraternity of beasts, when Fox's stomach grumbles, Fox will be Fox, and Fox the way foxes are prone to do. Chicken's words couldn't have descended upon Fox at a more timely time. For Fox, that is. Despite his fatigue, Fox's ears snapped to attention, and he bounded to the berm to hone his gaze upon the happenings by the brook. There sat three friends, gathered around quite a splendiferous feast that seemed to go disdainfully untended. What a wasteful affair. But what if Chicken were more than chicken? With these words to his avail, Fox began to fox, and sprung down the side of the berm to the gathering below.